Okay people, so it seems as though the long-awaited potential perfected devil form or fused form or completed form, whatever you want to call it, for Asta's devil power is upon us, because at the end of chapter 272 of Black Clover, it seems as though it's about to head that way. And it's crazy because how long has it been since like the Witch Forest with Vanessa's past and all that, where we got the first introduction to Asta having this power, where we find out like, oh shit, there's, you know, connections to demons, and then, you know, about the devil and his grimoire, and so on and so forth. We kept on getting more and more clues about Asta and what he has going on with him. And then of course it was, I want to say, the elf arc, if I'm not mistaken, where we really got a demonstration when he actually defeated, or, you know, confronted that demon that was, you know, tricked everyone and all the elves and shit like that. So it's been a long time headed to this moment of them, you know, Asta befriending Leeb and all of this jazz, and it seems as though the end of 272 is bringing something huge. So I'm really excited about that, because Black Clover chapter 272, we had two big different sides, I guess you could say, of the story. For starters, we got a return of Yuno. It seems as though we haven't had much Yuno aside from like the big captains meeting since like the top of this year, where I want to say it was the end of last year if I'm not mistaken, or the top of this year, one or the other, where Yuno got his behind handed to him at the hands of Zenon. He was left for dead. It was just kind of like, yo, it looked like it was curtains. And I don't know if Tabata is gearing up, bringing in Yuno again at this juncture of the story for like end of the year ass whooping like he got last year, or is it going to be this time, yo, we're here for vengeance, fam, because he took the L at the top of the year. He's gonna close off the year strong. Maybe that's what Tabata has in mind, but either way, I'm all here for it, baby. Let's do it. Let's talk some of that Black Clover greatness. It's getting real, people. Let's do it.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be though.
So just quickly, I wanted to apologize for the lateness of this video. Normally the chapters come out on Sundays, the official release, because that's the one I follow, not for any particular reasons other than I trust the translations a bit more. It's all in one place, very convenient. It's on one app, so that's the main reasons. I think the chapters came out early last week. It was Friday, and then we had Boruto and Dragon Ball Super, and it was just like a whole big mess, so a little bit late with this one, but that's the main reason. So when people ask me like, hey, why is it that, you know, the chapters drop this day and that, those are usually the unofficial leaks and scanlations and things like that, and I, for the most part, usually just wait for the best translation possible, which come out Sunday. So that's the main reason why my chapters usually drop, or my reviews for Black Clover, My Hero, and One Piece, between Monday and Wednesday of the week. It gives me time to edit. I'm a one-man team. I don't got no editor. I haven't had one for quite some time now, so yeah. Now you know. But the chapter opens up with Yuno training, and again, rightfully so. He took the biggest ass whipping at the beginning of this year. A lot of people thought he was dead. Zenon kicked his ass, and it was a big pillar to showcasing just what level of threat we were facing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the thing that started it all off and led to, of course, Asta finding Dante, and, you know, Lord of Hachika versus Vonica, all of that jazz that ensued following it. But Yuno really started the year off with getting his teeth kicked, and it was gloriously bad. It was like, oh no, you know what's going on. So we see the chapter starts off with him training and Longris, yeah, because Longris is hiding there watching him, and he's like, hey fam, how you doing? I'm just there like, I'm not a fan of Longris. I don't care. I don't really like him. I know that he's Finral's brother and all that jazz, but even now, even after he got his ass kicked and he got humbled, he's no longer the vice captain. He even feels a certain way where, you know, says, oh, former vice captain. He's like, oh, you gotta be nasty as ever calling me former. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. You are former. He's the vice captain. You better accept it, because, you know, a quote, and I've said it before, but I gotta say it again, a quote that I really, really appreciate and live by is something by Mike Tyson, where he said, man is meant to be humbled, not humble. And this man, even though he got his ass kicked, everything that happened, Finral, all of that jazz, he's still not humble. He still thinks he's a shit. He got dethroned as vice captain. In fact, I want to say there was just some leaks that said that the anime is supposed to show exactly what went down of Longris losing his vice captain position to Yuno and all that jazz, but him coming in there smug and like, hey, you know, you might need some training. Like, humble yourself, fam. And since you haven't, I'm looking at you like you're still a shitbag, okay? Don't really care for your Longris. You can, if I was Yuno, and I know Yuno tried to do the bigger man thing. He was like, hey, you know, we are Golden Dawn at the end of the day, so let's put it aside and we'll train for the betterment of it all. But if I was Yuno, I would have been like, yo, the fuck up out of here, man. Don't make me smack the shit out of you. I'll smack the Golden Dawn out your ass, you know what I'm saying? And definitely there's some things heating up for Yuno, because Belle has been holed up inside the grimoire, because when Longris asked Yuno, like, yo, where's the little fairy that's always basically up your ass? Yuno's like, oh, she's holed up in there, which means that if Asta is getting this big power up that we know he's about to get, you know, at the end of the chapter, we seemingly got a tease of it, I'm imagining that Yuno is going to have the same effect as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on with Yuno, because if Bella's hiding in there, it's not that she's just like, you know, sitting around worried. She is probably doing her thing, and Yuno's going to have a massive transformation. Again, the whole thing of he is naturally talented, Asta busts his ass for what he gets. But also, we got something as well that Yuno said he has worked out a way that he thinks he can defeat Zenon with, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think the rematch is just about due. Again, it's almost been a year since Yuno got his ass handed to him at the hands of Zenon. I want to see what he's learned. I want to see a new transformation of some sorts, or whatever powers, whatever magic he's come up with, because yeah, I mean, Zenon's no joke. We've seen already what he's able, you know, he captured freaking Yami, okay? He captured the captain of the Black Bulls, the greatness Yami. Like, yeah, you know, you better come with it. Not to mention you got that whole vengeance thing. He took down your homeland and shit. Like, you better get him. Then we cut to Asta and Leeb, and they have taken the L at the hands of Noct. And I gotta keep on saying it, because Black Clover, after the time skip, it felt as though it was going really, really quick. Like, not even after the time skip, but more so, I want to say maybe the last 4 months, ever since, like, it was just one thing after another, finding out about Leeb's backstory, Asta's backstory, like, a lot of things was coming. But then I want to say maybe this month or so of chapters, it feels as though it slowed down a lot. It put on the brakes for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a, hey, it's gonna last a bit longer, and Tabata's trying to figure things out or whatnot, because this training with Leeb and Noct, with Asta, it's really been like a very good paced training. It's like actually giving us an in-depth look, and normally Black Clover doesn't do things like this. Like, I'm sure you've seen by now, Black Clover is like a whoom, wham, bam, goodbye. You're lucky if you get 2 chapters on something like this. So the fact that it's been about a month or more of them training with Noct, and on top of that, we had the whole flashback of Leeb and all that stuff within there, but like, you know, them training with Noct and everything, it's been quite some time. It's actually a lot slower paced than Black Clover normally does, and that's a very, very good thing, because Black Clover usually glosses over this, and maybe that means that the anime isn't going to take too much time on this, because at the end of the day, this is a big deal anyway. Like, the anime, I'm sure they're going to put a lot of beautiful art and animation when we get, assuming that it lasts, because you never freaking know, even though it's doing incredible, but you just never know in this world. And I'm not saying that at the discredit of anything, that because Black Clover is actually improving and the anime is doing great. I'm just saying you never know. It's 2020. Anything bad could happen at this point. But yeah, they're going to put a lot of time and effort into that, so I don't think they're going to need to add any extra filler bits, because the manga has really gone in depth with this training. And that's that Noct isn't even fighting for real, which is crazy, because you got to think, like, damn, you're fighting Asta and his devil right there side by side. They're working together, and you're not even having to fight for real. Noct is really, really strong. My theories of him being, you know, a endgame villain is still out there, since we, you know, forcing or using and manipulating Asta to cut that cord. Just saying, it's there. You could definitely see that there's easily a link, which it makes sense, because he's still technically a part of Asta's grimoire and whatnot, and it seems as though maybe that's making an idea of how, you know, close and connected they are, Asta and Leeb, when Asta says, like, when one of them gets hurt, the other one gets hurt. So when Asta gets hurt, Leeb still gets hurt, especially in particular when Asta's in black mode, which showcases that they are kind of already connected. They just need to figure out how to move exactly, precisely, I guess, kind of like, you know, Goku and Vegeta working together, type of like a fusion-esque per se, which I think more so that's what the end of this chapter was kind of insinuating, like they completely and perfectly fused. But yeah, Noct feeds Asta and Leeb some of that food from the resistance of the Spade Nation that basically heals them up, which kind of reminds me, didn't like Charmy have some shit like that? Like, imagine Noct stole Charmy's food. That would be hilarious, like some little anime short bits of Charmy saying, yo, where the hell all my bread went? And you see just Noct with the basket. I took it from this peasant who gives a shit. And then Asta has this bright idea, like, yo, maybe this could work. And the comedy in this chapter, I don't know, I enjoyed it for the most part. Like, Leeb is like, you know, 10% of the time, he does have some pretty damn good ideas. And he puts Leeb on his shoulders, and it's just like, what are you doing, fam? Like, you want to work together, I get it and shit like that, but that's not how, no. Just no, Asta. It was funny as hell. And again, that's some of the brain-dead ideas that he have, and it was meant for mainly comedic purposes. Because again, we're in the midst of training, you got to make it entertaining at the same time while you're giving information, because if not, it'll just be an info dump, and who the hell wants that? And then we get a very interesting cut to a flashback of Noct and his brother, which really makes me, and maybe I misread it because I was reading, I was kind of like a little bit confused, but the dialogue went for the most part like this. The brother says, doesn't being a goody good get tiring? Noct says, doesn't doing your own thing get tiring? The bro says, what's tiring about being free? And I'm just thinking to myself, that's a stark contrast to the Noct that we know today, which really leads me to believe that there's something more to it. So, like, we already know from when Jack the Ripper said, but you're different, then, you know, Noct told Jack the Ripper that person is gone. So there's a lot of questions there. And then the silhouette of the brother, it kind of, the dude seemingly had like white hair or something along the lines of that. Really makes me wonder what's going on here. Like, I'll be honest with you, the design from the side of the face, and it would be a really interesting twist. Like, imagine the brother wasn't really a brother. Maybe it's some sort of thing like Yamato from One Piece with the whole gender identity situation, and maybe Lasita was actually, you know, the quote-unquote brother, like Noct's brother, and Noct is actually their uncle. That would be very interesting. Again, they're shadowing out the face and not showing Noct's brother for a reason, and the whole Lasita situation, that would tie in perfectly. Again, it could be something of like a gender identity switch of some sorts. Maybe Lasita identified as a man or something along the lines with that, or something even darker. Maybe the family made her because of like some purpose of like following, like, who knows what they could do with it. But again, it makes me wonder, why are they hiding Noct's brother's identity? I mean, even in the little flashback where we saw the frame, the one face of Noct's brother was hidden as well. Again, just very interesting stuff there. Then Noct says, well, the time has passed. 2 days have passed already. If you're not going to do it now, y'all might as well just die. And I think that was for the most part Noct pushing to get it done. Like, yeah, maybe the 2 days have for the most part passed, which more than likely means either next chapter or the following will get into like the shits, so to speak. The battle against the Spade Nation and the Dark Triad is going to continue or commence or whatnot. But I think that was mainly Noct, because Noct has not had a problem with Asta. He's had a problem and talk shit to every member of the Black Bulls, but not Asta. He respects Asta or likes Asta because Asta's been quote-unquote good from the beginning. So I think that was more so not him threatening to kill them, although you never know with him because, like I said, but I think more so that was just the push he was trying to give them. Like, yo, time is running out, everything is over, screw it, you either do it now, it's do or die, that's it, to push Asta to, you know, his greatness and figuring out what he needed to do with Leeb. And he uses Mana's own prison hunting ground, and it kind of looks really dark. And there was like one panel of Asta that looked really nicely drawn. I was like, holy shit, it looks really good, because you see like the demons attacking, and Asta can't even sense the key, which is really interesting. A key disruptive magic that he's using that would make it pretty difficult even if he fought Yami. And curious stuff there. Just saying, like, why would it block key? You know what I mean? And I mean, of course, I'm sure there's a logical explanation of why it blocks key, but why also Noct would have an ability to block ki? Like, who really uses ki in the magic world? And then we get, you know, classic shonen stuff, which is like, okay, you know, they're rising to the occasion with Leeb saying to avenge Lasita, and Asta saying to save Yami, and they seemingly did some type of fusing of a sort, because we see one eye and it looks really interesting. The eye reminds me of, there was a character in Yuki Tabata's previous series that got cancelled, Hungry Joker, and the eye looked really similar to that. So maybe they finally reached their perfected, completed demon form, Asta and Leeb's fusion of some sort, and I can't wait to see it. Honestly, this training has been really good for Black Clover. Like, honestly, Black Clover is such a fly-by-night chapter, you know, here and there, real quick, everything quick type of series. So when you slow things down to this level, I'm all for it, and I like it, and I'm glad that we got this type of in-depth look at their training, and I can't freaking wait to see. I don't know, I feel like Tabata's teasing us, and he's only showing us the eye, and when we cut back, they're gonna be back to normal, like either split apart or something like that, and then we're gonna have to wait until we fight some of the, you know, Spade Nation people to actually see the true transformation, which I'm fine by it. Keep the surprise if you want to, but I am very excited, and I'm curious what you guys think of this. For starters, big question, y'all think Yuno's gonna get his vengeance against Zenon, or he's gonna get his ass kicked? Tabata's gonna make this like a yearly thing, like he got his ass kicked at the end of last year, beginning of this year, it's gonna happen again, and he's gonna keep on? Or you think he's gonna actually put in work? What do you think the technique that he's figured out, or the strategy he has to defeat Zenon, what do you think that's going to be? Also the transformation for Asta and Leeb, what do you think that's going to look like? I'm really excited for that. And your thoughts and expectations, Noct's brother's identity, what is up with that? Why hide it? Can't freaking wait for Black Clover 273. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm from Neverworld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yo, I can't wait to see Asta's new form with Leave. That shit's gonna be sick.
It's nights like this and times like this that I can give another hit. But I've got this inside a switch, a natural